for joining us. My name is Toni Covey. I'm an enrolled agent and CEO and founder of TM Tax Practices, and we are answering 3 questions for you today, which are: what are the filing deadlines? What do I do if I can't file on time? And what do I file? So what are the filing deadlines? Well, if you're an individual, your filing deadline is going to be April 15th. Also, if you're a C corporation with a December year end or calendar year end, your deadline is also going to be April 15th. Now that deadline starts to vary if you are operating as a partnership or an S corporation, in which case your filing deadline is going to be March 15th. So you may be wondering why those deadlines are a little bit different for the partnership and S corporation than for the individual. And the answer is this: the partnership and S corporation are considered flow-through entities, meaning the income and expenses are reported informationally on the partnership and S corp tax return, and they produce a K-1 that flows through to the partners or the S corp shareholders' tax returns, which are usually individuals who have an April 15th deadline. So that's giving you a little bit more time from that March 15th deadline to get those K-1s and that information to report on your individual return. Now, April 15th and March 15th are some pretty standard deadlines, and they don't really change from year to year, with the exception of if those dates fall on a weekend or a federally observed holiday, it will be pushed to the very next business day. So there might be a slight change there, but just keep those dates in mind as a rule of thumb. Now, if you're a C corporation, your tax return may be due a little bit different as well if you have a fiscal year end. So for C corporations, what you need to keep in mind is that the due date will be the 15th day of the 3rd month following the year end. Now for our second question: what do I do if I'm not ready to file, or if I can't file my tax return yet? There are a number of reasons why you might not be ready to file just yet. Maybe you're waiting for a number of income statements to come in, like a K-1, a W-2, a 1099, or maybe you have received those statements and you need a corrected return. Maybe you got your W-2 and there were some obvious errors, and you're waiting for your employer to fix those errors and issue you a corrected W-2. That's okay. You can wait for that, as well as if you have a business return and you just haven't gotten all your financials together yet. There is an extension of time to file available for you, and that's usually a 6-month extension. So if you're an individual with that April 15th deadline, your extended due date will be October 15th, okay? And if you are a business, a partnership, or an S corporation, that March 15th deadline is actually going to be extended now to September 15th. All right, so there are extensions available to you. You will have to request the extension. It is an automatic extension, meaning you do not need a reason. You don't have to provide a reason for the extension. It will be automatically accepted as long as you submit the request. The thing to remember here is that the C corporation, much like the individual, may have a tax liability of its own due. So if you're going to file an extension using Form 7004 for the C corporation, and you believe that the C corporation will have a tax liability due, you will need to make an estimated tax payment to avoid any potential late payment penalties. Now, S corporations and partnerships will not have its own tax liability due, so they don't have a late filing penalty included. But an extension is still important. Why? Because there is still a late filing penalty for partnerships and S corporations of $210 per partner or shareholder per month. So it is important to get that extension filed if you are not going to be able to file on time. Now, if you are unable to file by the extended deadline for whatever reason, what you need to know is there are no more extensions available. What you would need to do is go ahead and file the tax return by the filing deadline, or the extended deadline, I should say, to the best of your ability. And then following that, once you have whatever you feel like you're missing at that point, you can go ahead and file an amended tax return. Now for our third and final question, what do I file? Well, what you're going to file if you're an individual is Form 1040. And that's going to be regardless of your filing status. So if you are single, married filing jointly, head of household, married filing separately, it doesn't matter. It is still considered an individual tax return, and you are going to file Form 1040. Now again, if you are not ready to file, you can request an extension by filing Form 4868, and you could do that by mailing it in. Now again, if you believe that you are going to owe, you will need to make an estimated tax payment with that form when you file for the extension. Now, if you're a business, there will be varying forms. If you're a partnership, you are going to file Form 1065. If you are an S corporation, you are going to file Form 1120S. Now, both the partnership 1065 and S corporation 1120S will produce a K-1 that you will need to provide to your partners, members, or shareholders. Now, the C corporation is going to file just Form 1120. Now, if you want to file an extension for any type of business, C Corp, partnership, S Corp, you are going to use Form 7004, and you can mail that in. All right, guys, so we have covered our 3 topics today. We've talked about the filing deadlines, what to do if we can't meet that deadline, the extension, and what we're going to file. And I really hope that you guys found some useful and helpful information in here. Please let us know if you have any questions. info@tmtaxpractices.com is where you can email us. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.